Now, in the wake of COVID inquiry, former Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Downing Street is now accused to be macho and egoistical. The most senior female servant claimed that women's voices were heard for as little as 10 minutes in 5 hours of meetings during a key week of coronavirus policy. Helen McNamara, who was then the Deputy Cabinet Secretary, said that the culture was so male-dominated that female officials were routinely not invited to these key meetings. She further added that female colleagues were not even listened to and not even asked for views on something, and even they had to acknowledge about it. Now, Alexandra Burns, who was then former Prime Minister's private secretary, said that men in number 10 often did not even bother to learn women's name. She added, and I quote, "I have inexplicably been called Katie and Rosie since being down here and just sometimes just kind of vaguely gestured at," unquote. McNamara's email, published by the officials of the COVID inquiry, said that gender imbalance appeared to be a problem specific to COVID. Another document showed that 3 weeks later, McNamara emailed Johnson's principal private secretary to warn about a superhero culture in the cabinet office. She even pushed back against a plan to encourage more officials to work in person, saying, and I quote, "This risked people basically winging on in meetings endlessly instead of making stuff happen," unquote. Now, yesterday, the cabinet minister, Penny Mordaunt, during her COVID inquiry, revealed that just like Johnson, a series of COVID-related WhatsApp messages with ex-PM had mysteriously vanished from her phone. Now, Johnson, during a COVID inquiry conducted earlier this month, said that WhatsApp messages from his old phone covering the crucial period from January to June 2020 were lost due to a factory reset of his device. The new documents shared with the COVID inquiry also drag UK's current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak into the controversy, and they reveal that Sunak considered a radical plan to give everyone in the country a prepaid debit card in the summer of 2020 to boost spending. Sunak, however, ditched his idea when Treasury officials pointed out that significant risk of theft and fraud in sending out tens of millions of cards containing taxpayer cash in the post.